Just a quick disclaimer. This will be a longer video. Lots to discuss, lots to break down. Make sure you stay tuned for the entire video. There's going to be lots of good information, lots of breakdowns where you can pause, and if you need to grab your snacks, your drinks, your bathroom breaks, protein, late dinner, late lunch, early dinner, whatever it is, make sure you do that. And let's get right into this video. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. Great article here from Fierce Network. I will leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So I got to stress this to start off the video. I got to be very honest, very blunt, not going to sugarcoat it. AT&T is very, very, very serious about fiber. You guys that have been following the channel, you guys have heard me very adamantly speak on that in past videos. Even backtracking even a year ago, I was very adamant because I was told internally, right, the capital allocation split is differently, and a majority of capital is going to fiber. It's not prioritizing wireless anymore. I warmed you guys up to that, and now they're doubling down on the fiber side. So that puts, I don't want to say it puts wireless on the back burner, but wireless is going to take a back seat on this new strategy. So I wanted to be very clear about that as an opening statement to this video. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to break it down any differently. That's just the way it is. Wireline is going to be their main messaging into the future. They're at some point this year, they are going to have another small analyst day. Stenky hinted to that in the Goldman Sachs presentation. And it's going to be all about fiber once again, right? It's been about fiber. They're still going to talk about wireless, but it's the moves, the merger and acquisitions. And I had prediction videos towards the end of the years when I put that in there, that the M&As, I remember the M&As, right, merger and acquisition for AT&T would be on the fiber side. And that's, that's what they're going to stick to. Now, they're not going to buy up all these companies, but they are going to strike these partnerships that they recently announced. And that's how they're going to maneuver moving forward. That's just how it's going to be. I'm not going to sit here and say that they're going to 100% become a broadband wireline company. That's not the case. Wireless is still the bread and butter today because it's nationwide. It's scale. You can scale it quicker where needed. You can densify quicker. So that's not going anywhere. But it's saturated. There's not much more to squeeze there. They've been in that business for a very long time. So now they're going to focus on the better returns, which they've said very clearly time and time again, fiber is showing better returns than they even anticipated. So let's take a brief look here. I want to be very clear. So you can see, you can hear the doubling down, as I mentioned in a previous video. They are going to double down on their fiber ambitions. And this actually may be bigger of an ambition than I even anticipated. And you guys have heard me say and shift already in my opinion and my takes that they are going bigger on fiber. And it sounds like to me they're going bigger than I even anticipated. So they got 4 new partnerships, including BlackRock. BlackRock partnership they already got that done, I think, a year or 2 ago. So that's already well on its way. So let's briefly look at the new partnership, the new partners for those of you who are unaware. We got Bolden Networks, we got Digital Infrastructure Group, we got Prime Fiber, and we got Ubiquity. Those are the 4 new partners that AT&T is going to do open access with. Those are the 4 partners that they are going to do business with, where they're going to attach the AT&T branding, lease the fiber back, let them build it. These are the 4 partners. Now, For any other JV companies out there that may be watching this video, AT&T is open for business. I'll just leave it at that. Make your phone calls, speak to who you need to speak to with. AT&T is open for business. They're looking to really, really, really scale that fiber. I can't stress that enough. That is a big priority now inside the company. So now that we got the partnerships out the way, you guys can see them there. We have to let them build and all that come to fruition. But over time, it will be accretive to the business, and it will help with the next piece, which is convergence. If there is a perceived race to convergence, AT&T is going to win it. Verizon doesn't have the scale today, right? They're working through that Frontier deal, which will gain them significantly more scale. And T-Mobile is, I mean, since we're being honest in this video, T-Mobile's scale on fiber is a non-threat. It's a fart in the wind today, right? They have more work to do. I mean, Stanky even mustered up the thought of calling them a copycat, which I don't know why he did that. Maybe they are a copycat or whatnot, but T-Mobile's fiber scale is insignificant in my opinion at this point in time. They're still years away from being able to produce any positive numbers from that. I mean, we're talking 2030 to reach most of what they want to build. I know with Lumos it's a little earlier than that, but with the MetroNet it's 2030. It's years away before we can even really get T-Mobile into the discussions with the converged piece. Now they're going bigger on convergence, perhaps with FWA, but that juice is eventually going to run dry, right? They're going to have to show us September 18th on how they plan to further move more capacity through the network to continue FWA, and we're looking forward to that. But Stanky is very clear on his messaging. Convergence, convergence, convergence. That's a big deal for them, and that's bad for the competition, if you will, because AT&T's already churning at the lowest churn in the industry. They have been for several quarters, actually for more than several quarters. And I feel convergence plays a factor in that. And they tell us, hey, look, where we are able to converge and bundle wireless and wireline, we have a lower churn, we index better, we grow wireless that way. It seems to be the success for the business moving forward. With fiber leading and wireless being attached to the fiber play, it simply works. Now, today, the convergence, I believe, is at a 40% is what they showed in the chart when they reported Q2 earnings. 40%, I mean, that's a very high rate. And you got to keep in mind, that's still with the fiber footprint lagging well behind the wireless network. I mean, the wireless network is nationwide. So if you're going to do this long term, like 20 years from now, I mean, they're going to try and get closer and closer and closer to matching the wireless footprint, at least where you have population, right? I mean, they're not going to deploy fiber across thousands of miles of interstate, but they're going to do it to get closer and closer to matching the wireless network size because the convergence works. They see it, right? And if that's the new big thing in business, right, convergence in the wireless business, AT&T is going to be at the forefront. They still want to grow organically. They still want to maintain the organic build. That's at the forefront of the priority. He made that very clear during the Goldman Sachs conference. Number one is organically building. They will continue to organically build. Number two, they want to do the open access. That's number two. And then number three, he's even mentioning some type of private partnerships on fiber as well. They're going all in on fiber. They're going all in on fiber, open access, organic, whatever the case, they are going all in. Also, another thing he mentioned that I want to be very clear on, they are going to come down on CapEx. right? Their capital allocation. They are coming down from the peak levels. But something that he said yesterday, very interesting, he said they're coming down, but CapEx will be elevated versus their regular level or regular spend. So they're going to invest more over the years because of the organic build. It's very expensive. They are upping CapEx. It's not going to be at those peak levels, right? The 22, 23 billion, whatever they were at to to invest in accelerating the C-band build. But I could see them being at 20, 21 billion. I could see them being there. That would be an elevated spend. I don't know what their regular wireless, regular CapEx spend is. I'd have to look at the last few years to see what the averages are. But if he says it's going to be elevated versus what they normally spend, then it's got to be higher. And they will show us or show and tell in during the guidance for 2025. That usually comes in the fourth quarter. So in 2025, they will show and tell and give us guidance on what the spend will be for next year. And I don't know, maybe they do an analyst day and tell us the next few years. Who knows? But it's going to be higher. So that should tell you fiber is coming and it's coming big. Now, for those of you who take the position in, okay, I don't have fiber, so this means nothing to me. I mean, I understand, right? What does it mean to you if AT&T doesn't have fiber by you? But this right here, this planning, these partnerships, this additional spending or to build organically. I mean, if there was ever a chance of you getting fiber, this is the biggest chance you will probably ever have to get any type of AT&T fiber into your area. Now, I'm not saying that you're specifically going to get it, but it's the possibility has gone up with this next push. If it's a partnership, if it's organically, whatever, your chances of getting AT&T fiber are now at the highest they've ever been. Let's just put it that way. And that's how serious they are on this playbook. They're going all in. They're going all in now. They have to further disclose, hopefully at some type of analyst day, maybe early next year, on how many partnerships they're looking to strike. But like I said, they're open for business. They are definitely open for business. I mean, they very quickly came in, grabbed 4 partnerships, and have a 5th one already with BlackRock, with Gigapower. I mean, T-Mobile has 2. Metronet, Lumos. I mean, they have some other ones, right? Tillman and Intrepid. They got some other smaller ones, but AT&T is very aggressive, and they have CapEx, right? They have purchasing power. So with these partnerships, I mean, they can do cash infusions for them to aggressively build even more. Whatever the partnership calls for, AT&T can definitely meet those requirements and exceed them whenever needed, right? Let's say 2026, 2027, hey, AT&T, we need another $2 billion because we want to build here, and here. AT&T is going to allow it. They want their fiber to be everywhere. I'm not saying it's going to be 100% across the United States continental, but they're going to have the largest fiber footprint probably we will ever see. I don't know if anybody will ever reach the level of fiber from one company. We will have fiber, right, from different companies across the U.S. So the U.S. will have more fiber in the coming years, but to have that type of scale from one company, I don't think we'll ever see that again. I could be wrong. I mean, we could see Google Fiber striking partnerships and going bigger, and at some point Verizon will likely strike again, and maybe they get Brightspeed or they get someone else, right? And maybe T-Mobile buys a smaller, bigger player. Maybe they go after Lumen or Ubiquity or whoever, right? Maybe they do it. But AT&T has been at this for decades. And with the conference yesterday and how they're moving, it sounds like to me they are going to deploy and build fiber for decades more to come. In markets where they already have existing fiber footprints and it's not very high penetration, They will probably invest to get that market to 50, 60%. There's markets today where AT&T is advertising fiber, but they only penetrate 20% of the market. You got to understand that too. So that's another right few years of investing. Like for example, El Paso, and I know this fairly well from internal sources. They I think they just passed 40% market penetration. So 40% of the market has AT&T fiber. So that's 60 more percent of the market that they could deploy fiber to. Some of that might be DSL. They have DSL still in my neighborhood that they can upgrade to fiber, which I think they're going to do. Right, with this renewed focus, with this well, I wouldn't say renewed focus. They've always been focused on fiber, but with this higher spend, right, that's coming. I mean, in the markets where you already have been organically building, just upgrade the damn DSL. You know what I mean? Just spend the money, get it upgraded, and then you can sell. Right? I mean, I feel for cable. I definitely feel for cable because this is bigger than I even anticipated. So I feel for cable. I feel for FWA too. The more that this footprint expands, FWA is threatened with more competition. Right now, in a lot of these smaller areas, T-Mobile's FWA, Verizon's FWA, even AT&T's FWA, they're able to take from DSL, low-performing cable players that have constant outages because they're not investing in redundancy out that way. So FWA is fairly having an easy time, and we've seen that in the quarterly reports, 400, 500,000 ads per quarter. But now, if you can get fiber out to those areas, that's a bigger threat and a bigger competitor than FWA faces today. And that's something that Stenke mentioned as well, and I want to be clear. He said he's a better partner for these fiber players because he's not or JV players because he's not aggressively overlaying and competing with that footprint with FWA. So they are doing FWA. He did confirm that, and we all know he's doing Internet Air, but they're not looking to grow to the size and scale that Verizon and T-Mobile are growing into, right? 7 to 8 million for T-Mobile, 4 to 5 million for Verizon. As of, I think they confirmed it pretty much that they'll hit the 4 million mark by the time they report third quarter earnings. T-Mobile will probably hit their 7 to 8 million next year. So AT&T has no ambitions to reach those levels. So within the MetroNet and the Lumos footprint, T-Mobile is very likely competing against that footprint with FWA. Now, the FWA customer today, they're probably going to try and upgrade that customer to fiber through these partnerships. It's a very strong possibility. But Stenke pretty much said he's not looking to do that. He wants that third party with the AT&T branding to have his 100% support for growing and expanding, right? And he's not looking to compete against that. So, and you shouldn't, right? Where you have fiber and you have solid penetration in that market, you shouldn't be trying to compete against your own product with FWA. It just makes no sense. Why would you even do that, right? So this is a very, very, very interesting approach moving forward for the AT&T future. Very excited. I'm very excited about it. Very excited around this. Would I like them to be more engaged and more excited about wireless? Yes, but wireless will still get its upgrades. It will still see some of the densification, but they're not all in on it. I got to be honest with you, for you wireless enthusiasts, they're not all in on wireless anymore. And it simply shows. It simply shows. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm going to continue to read up on this and continue to break this down for you guys. This was a longer take, and I had to be honest. I mean, they want to get to 45 million homes passed with the organic build, with the partnerships and everything that they're striking. I mean, 60, 70 million homes passed. It's a possibility. It's very possible. It's very, 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 very possible for them to do that. And that would be a massive scale. I mean, that would be insane scale. And I think this is going to be studied for years to come. This type of model, this type of playbook, that AT&T is putting forth, and they're at the forefront, right? The others are going to study that for a long time to come. Other competitors, Verizon and T-Mobile, are going to continue to look at that. So that's something that that Stanky defended yesterday. He was asked, how would he respond to the competition? And he turned it around, flipped it around, and said, no, the competition needs to respond to me. I'm the one at the forefront. And he was very, very confident in that statement. He also said he has by far the best fiber product in the United States. And he stood on that. I mean, there was no hesitation in his voice. He stood on that statement. He's like, I have the best fiber product in the United States. He even put out a joke, but I'll probably end the video with this. He said he was at a cocktail party not too long ago, and usually when he goes to those cocktail parties, his closest friends always ask him, "Hey, when are we going to get a cell tower for better service?" And now he says he goes to those same cocktail parties, and they're not even asking for cell towers anymore. They're asking for fiber. When can they get fiber? Because of word of mouth, someone at the party has it at their house. They say it's a great product, and now those people want to get it, right? So trust me, fiber's a great product. Once you have it, nothing's better. Nothing's better out there. I mean, yes, you might be paying a more premium, higher pricing, depending on the tier that you want to get into, but it's fast, it's reliable, and it just simply works. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I look forward to reading them on this breakdown. Let me know how you feel about AT&T really shifting to fiber now with all these partnerships and the organic build, and if they do raise the capex, which they will, right? He said it will be elevated versus normal levels. It's going to go to fiber. It's going to go towards that organic build. It's very expensive. It's very tedious. You got to have a lot of patience, but in the end, the results will speak for themselves. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe if you're new. Follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.